Yo, what's going on, guys? Today I'm going to be going over the NBA slate on DraftKings for Monday, October the 22nd. We do have a 9-game slate tonight. I'm going to cover this 9-game slate and go through each position, talk about some of my favorite plays. We'll also give my 5 core plays, 5 guys that I expect to have a lot of exposure to come lock time. But before we do get started, guys, would appreciate it if you would drop a like on the video. Really does mean a lot. If you are new to the channel, if this is your first time checking out a video on my channel, really appreciate you watching the video. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, turn on notifications as well, so that way you won't miss out on any of my new videos. And I'm going to be uploading my NFL recap video on Monday as well. This video is going up Sunday night. My recap video will go up Monday sometime early on in the day. So if you want to check that out, I did pretty bad this NFL week. So if you want to see how bad I did, see me go over some of my lineups and just recap the slate, then you can check that video out as well. I would appreciate it. But yeah, let's go ahead and look at this 9-game slate. Start off at point guard, go through each position. Start up top with Steph Curry, who is our most expensive point guard on this slate, and he is 10,100. I really like Curry here. It's just a great spot in general for the Warriors. They're facing the Suns. Obviously, there is blowout concern here because the Suns are just not a good basketball team, and the Warriors could absolutely blow them out. But if this game can stay close, you could see some of these Warriors guys just absolutely crush, and obviously Curry could be one of those guys that just really does well here. Nobody on this Phoenix team can stop them, just anybody on the Warriors in general. This game's going to be played at a very fast pace. You have two teams here that like to play fast, that like to run up and down the court. So I love Curry here. He's been great this year for fantasy so far through 2 games. Against OKC, 58 DraftKings points against the Jazz, 52 DK points. He's playing a ton of minutes, 37 minutes in those 2 games. Really like Curry here. Just think he has a lot of upside against this really bad Suns defense. If I'm paying up at point guard, Curry's the guy that I'm going to go to today. But if I'm game stacking this game, and if I think Phoenix can keep it close, then obviously Devin Booker is probably going to be a big reason why. If this game does stay close, it's probably going to be because he's having a big game. So I will have plenty of lineups where I go with Curry, maybe another guy like Draymond from the Warriors. Then on the other side, play maybe Devin Booker, maybe Ayton if I want to go to him. I think there are some guys you can play from the Suns. Obviously, blowout is a bit of a concern, but I'm not really going to fade guys. Because of blowout, I'll have exposure to Curry, KD. I'll have exposure to Booker as well. Probably some Ayton exposure because I do like some plays from the Suns side. But yeah, up top at point guard, it's really Curry and Booker for me. I think those are my 2 favorite plays if I'm going to pay up and go expensive at this position. If I'm not going expensive, there are some really good mid-tier plays. So in the mid-range, I think it's 7K, Kyrie Irving. Really good play here if you want to go to him. He was 6,600. I believe it was Friday night against the Raptors. He was priced down because he was coming off a bad game. He was also in a tough matchup against the Raptors, and he did pretty well. 37 DraftKings points at 6,600. That's really good value. That's about 6x value. There's a good chance Kyrie could get 40 DK points here and get close to 6x value. So it's 7K against a bad Magic team, Magic team that can't defend point guards. I think Kyrie definitely in play if you want to go to him in that mid-range. And then the cheaper guy that I think is probably going to be popular today, but for good reason, is Lonzo Ball. Lonzo Ball is 5,500. He just makes a lot of sense today. We already know that Rondo is suspended for this game. Brandon Ingram is also suspended. When we get to small forward, we'll talk about Kyle Kuzma. I expect him to be a really good play today. But Lonzo is also a good play. He's only 5,500. I expect him to most likely start for Rondo. Rondo has been starting. I expect Lonzo to start now that Rondo is suspended. Lonzo was supposedly on a minutes restriction, at least for the first few games, but his minutes have increased. In the season opener, he played 19 minutes against Portland, played 26 minutes in that game against Houston. I expect him to get to 30-plus minutes here against the Spurs. The Spurs are a team that plays slow, but they're not an elite defense by any means. This is a good spot for Lonzo, and his price tag is really, really nice. He's too cheap. Since he's going to be starting, going to have to play a lot of minutes with Rondo out. So I love Ball here, 5,500. One of the best just overall point per dollar plays on the slate, along with Kuzma. But yeah, I think that's it for point guard. If I'm going cheap, Lonzo's definitely my favorite guy here. D Rose, I don't know what to do with. He's 4,400. He's been playing really well. He's averaged 30 DraftKings points so far this year. Through 3 games, 15, 29, 47 DK points. D Rose has been getting a lot of good minutes off the bench. It's a decent matchup against the Pacers. I don't love Rose's price at 4,400. Obviously, I would play Lonzo over Rose, but if you want to go really cheap at point guard and save with both your point guard spots, then you could go Lonzo and Rose. I don't mind that, but I don't expect to go too crazy on D Rose, especially at 4,400. I think that's it for value at point guard, at least the cheap plays that I really like at this position. So let's go ahead and move on to shooting guard. Look at some guys we haven't talked about here. Do have Kawhi Leonard, who is expected to play today. He rested on Saturday, that's why he's listed as out on DraftKings, but he's going to play today against the Hornets, At 8,800, I don't have too much interest in Kawhi. I'm going to have exposure to him because he's a GOAT, he's Kawhi, just a really good player, but I think I'd rather play Devin Booker for 400 less in a really fast-paced game. So I think that's my take when it comes to paying up at shooting guard. I think I'd rather play Booker over Kawhi, but obviously Kawhi is not a guy that I'm just going to fully fade. Shooting guard's probably not a position I want to go too heavy with the expensive guys, at least like not the top tier with like Oladipo, Booker, Leonard. DeMar DeRozan sticks out to me kind of if you want to play him. 7,400 seems a little bit too cheap for a Lakers going up against the Lakers team. That's going to play really fast this year. It's not going to be the greatest defensive team. I'm not sure if DeRozan will be guarded by LeBron. He might be. LeBron is a pretty good defender. He can really lock down on guys when he wants to, but sometimes he'll play lazy defense. DeRozan gets LeBron. I'd probably shy away, but DeRozan at 7,400 against a fast-paced Lakers team, you could go there. But like shooting guard, there's not a ton of plays that stick out to me. You do have Clay down here at 5,600. He'd be like when it comes to price, he's a price play that really sticks out to me. Clay has not been good this year at all so far. Just hasn't been efficient, but this is a great get right spot going up against the Suns. We know the Suns play fast, the Warriors play fast. A lot of opportunity in this game for Clay to get some shots up. At 5,600, I could see wanting to play him here just as a cheaper shooting guard that you could go to, especially if you want to save salary at this position. I think Clay does make sense. Like I talked about, though, has not been good this year. Hasn't really shot well from the field. First game against OKC, went 5 for 20 from the field. Against the Jazz, he only took 9 shots, 4 for 9, only 18 and 19 DK points. We know Clay's very scoring dependent. If he doesn't score much, then he's not going to be a great play. But against the Suns team, it's pretty likely Clay's going to be able to get some shots up. And I could see wanting to go to him at shooting guard as a cheaper play down here at 5,600. But I think he's like my favorite value. You do also have Josh Hart, who should see some increased minutes with with Rondo and Brandon Ingram out suspended for this game. I expect Josh Hart to pick up some minutes, and he is 5,100. Could definitely be a value play you look to. Him and Clay are probably my favorite cheap shooting guards. KCP's still been starting for the Lakers, but he hasn't really been that good. But I expect him to have to get a few more minutes as well. He's down here at 4,200. You could possibly go to him, but I think I'd rather play Josh Hart over KCP if I had to choose between the two. So I think that's it for shooting guard. Let's go ahead, move on to small forward. This position for me today is really all about Kyle Kuzma. He's my favorite play at this position. But obviously, you can play Giannis, you can play LeBron. But like on FanDuel, I haven't looked at FanDuel's price, but where you have to play 2 small forwards, I expect to have a ton of Kyle Kuzma, even if I don't even know if he's small forward eligible. Pretty sure he is on FanDuel, but I expect to play him a lot there. Obviously, I'm going to have him in a ton of my DK lineups. But with how DK has their multi-position eligibility, you could play Giannis at small forward, then play Kyle Kuzma at your forward spot. I think Kuzma's power forward eligible. You could play him there. Giannis against the Knicks and LeBron against the Spurs. If I had to choose one, I think I'd go with LeBron here. LeBron hasn't been great this year. He hasn't had any great games, but I expect him to really have to do a lot in this game. I expect him to have the ball in his hands a lot. He's going to be playmaking, just trying to dish out assists. He's going to be doing a lot in this game. With no Ingram, no Rondo, I expect LeBron to pick up some usage, just get more opportunity. And at 10,500, if I can pay up at this position, I think he's my favorite play. Prefer him over Giannis and prefer him over Durant. But these aren't guys that I feel like I have to have today. I think the play you have to have here is Kuzma, so let's just go ahead and go down to him. He's only 5,500, really, really cheap. Against the Spurs, I expect Kyle Kuzma to be really popular today, but for good reason. With no Ingram in this game, Kuzma's probably going to play 30 or more minutes. He's most likely going to start for Ingram. I expect him and Lonzo to be 2 of the more popular plays on this slate, but they both just make so much sense with their price tag, with how much increased usage they're going to see, with how much increased minutes they're going to see, they're just too cheap for what they're going to just have to do in this game. So I like Kuzma at small forward. He's definitely my favorite play here. I don't love the value plays here. If I can play Kuzma at this position, he's the guy that I want. So I think he'd probably be the cheapest guy that I would consider at this position. Small forward, love Kuzma. Obviously, you can pay up for LeBron if you want to do that, but I'll just probably be jamming in Kuzma at this position. So let's go ahead and look at power forward real quickly. Up top here, you have Giannis and LeBron, KD. You can all play at this position. I do have LaMarcus Aldridge, 7,800 against the Lakers. I don't mind LMA here. I think I'd prefer him over the other 7K guys. Like, I'd prefer him over Aaron Gordon, and I'd take Aldridge over Jason Tatum. I think Jason Tatum just seems a little bit overpriced today. Prefer Aldridge over him. Good spot for Aldridge. Most likely going to be guarded by JaVale McGee a lot in this game. He'll probably see some LeBron defense as well. But against this fast-paced Lakers team, in a game that should be competitive, should be somewhat high-scoring, Aldridge at 7,800, definitely, if I can pay up at this position, I do like him. But for cheaper, you have Draymond Green here at 6,900, and that's just a price tag that really sticks out to me. I think Draymond Green might just be a tad bit too cheap today going up against the Suns. I know Green hasn't been like elite so far this year. He hasn't put up any big games. But he's been playing decent minutes, 33 minutes in the 2 games that the Warriors have played this year, 28, 38 DraftKings points. This price tag for Draymond just seems too cheap for this matchup. Against a fast-paced Suns team, I expect there to be a lot of opportunity for rebounds, just a lot of shots to go up, a lot of opportunity for Draymond to get assists. This could be one of those games where Draymond gets a triple-double. Would not be surprised at all. At 6,900, really stands out to me. Even though I really like Curry, I'll be playing Curry and Draymond in the same lineups. In plenty of lineups, I'll be doing that combo. Probably running it back with some Devin Booker, maybe play Ayton in those lineups as well. I think a game stack obviously makes some sense here if the game stays competitive. So in that 6K range, love Draymond, by far one of my favorite power forwards. But then another cheap power forward we have is down here in the 5K range. Jaren Jackson Jr. is 5,200, and I expect him to see a really big bump. JaMychal Green is going to be out for the Grizzlies for, I think it's like 4 to 6 weeks. I believe he broke his jaw or something. Or right here it says it. Jackson is expected to enter the starting lineup at power forward against the Jazz after JaMychal Green suffered a broken jaw. He's going to be out 4 to 6 weeks. So Jackson's going to see increased minutes, going to see increased usage. He's going to start for the Grizzlies. So far through 2 games this year with the Grizzlies, he's played 25 and 28 minutes. Been really efficient, 25 and 41 DraftKings points. Last game against Atlanta was really good, 24 points, 7 rebounds, 2 assists, 2 blocks, and a steal. He put up 12 shots in that game. Did shoot pretty well from the field, but got a lot of opportunity. I expect him to have a ton of opportunity here. It's not a great matchup against the Jazz. They do have a solid defense. They do play pretty slow. But with how much opportunity Jackson's going to get at 5,200, he just seems way too underpriced. So definitely my favorite value play at this position if we're going cheap. Jaren Jackson, Draymond are the 2 guys that really stick out to me at power forward. So I think that's it for this position. Let's quickly go over centers. Up top at this position, at center, we got Karl Anthony Towns at 8,700, who I do like here against the Pacers. The Pacers are not very good against defending centers. Miles Turner is not like an elite defender. Pretty good shot blocker, but not a guy I'm really scared to go up against. So I do like Cat, 8,700 if you want to pay up for him. He's definitely not a priority for me, but I'll probably have some exposure to Cat. Talked about LMA. I do like LMA if you want to play him at center. But I don't expect center to be a position where I try and jam in the top guys. I think we can go to the mid-range. If you want to game stack that Phoenix Golden State game, I do like Ayton at 6,800 you could play. Marc Gasol seems a little bit too cheap at 6,400. Not a great matchup against Gobert, but I expect Gasol to have to be on the floor a lot in this game to guard Gobert. He seems a little bit too cheap at 6,400. You do have Al Horford, 6,200. Good matchup against the Magic. We know how bad the Magic are at defending centers and how bad of a defender Vucevic is. Karl Anthony Towns is also not a very good defender. So on the other side of that Timberwolves game, you could go to Miles Turner at 6K if you want to play him as a cheaper play at this position. I think that's as cheap as I'll probably be going at this position. You got JaVale McGee at 4,900, who has actually been seeing some decent run for the Lakers so far this year. Through 2 games, he's played 22 and 20 minutes, so he's been pretty or the minutes have been pretty consistent. The production's been consistent, 32 and 35 DraftKings points. It will be interesting to see who they use to guard Aldridge if McGee guards Aldridge. So if that is the case, he could look at probably 23, 24 minutes here, especially if it's a competitive game and if he's playing well. Could easily get a double-double in that time. We know how good JaVale McGee is at racking up blocks. So as a cheap center play, I don't mind him. 4,900 if you want to go down here, but I think he's my favorite cheap center if I'm just trying to punt this position. So I think that's it for this position. I think that's it for the video, guys. Hopefully you did enjoy the video. Hopefully this video did help you. If you enjoyed, just make sure you click that like button down below. I would really appreciate it. Also, if you are new to the channel, make sure you subscribe. You can turn on notifications so that way you won't miss out on any of my new videos. Make sure you follow me on Twitter as well so that way you can keep up to date with what I'm doing. And if you do have questions, you can hit me up on Twitter. My DMs are always open. But yeah, guys, good luck tonight on this 9-game NBA slate, and we will see you back again on Tuesday. Peace.